Yes, good evening, guys. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Guys, sorry for the delay. Actually, there is some technical issue into my laptop. Okay, so let's get started. So can we start? Today we are going to discuss about SSH. Small concept only. It's very important, especially who's doing AWS and DevOps. Okay, so maybe like you are going to deploy the infrastructure for Ansible. So usually with the help of between instance, but I'm not going to show you in between instances. I'm going to use my machines only, virtual machines only. So how we need to work with SSH, after completing the session, you are going to get the good knowledge, guys. So you are going to very easily, you can manage the SSH keys and those all stuff. And one more thing, so maybe you are going to get few new things also today. So you know very well about PEM case and PP case and those all stuff. But actually, what is the use of those PEM case and PP case? You don't know. Just we need to download the PEM key like that. Many people, they know that's it. Without PEM key, we are unable to log in like that. Why we are unable to log in? Now you are going to discuss. Now we are going to discuss. So guys, same infrastructure. Yesterday, we deploy the one network between two different machines, isolated network. Same network I'm going to deploy now because minimum we should have two missions to perform this task. Minimum we should have two different missions. Those both the missions should have communication. Got it, guys? Those both the mission, it should have communication. We need to communicate mission one to mission two, mission two to mission one, like that. So now I'm going to deploy a little bit quickly because already we done yesterday. So how to deploy the isolated network between two missions. So because of that, I am trying to deploying the virtual network between two virtual missions a little bit quickly now, right? Then after that, we are going to discuss about SSH. So got it, guys? Okay. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Whatever it may be. So I'm using, right. So let's get started. Yes, Sashmita, right. So now we are trying to deploying one isolated network between those both dimensions, right? Guys, really, that is very, so we have network here, VMnet1, and then go to client and check network settings. We should keep VMnet1 only for client also. Right. So we'll have both, no need to bother. Both same. I'm going to start this mission. I think it is going to change now because I'm using snapshot. Online, can you hear me? Am I audible? Online. Am I audible, guys? Pankaj, good. Where is that guy, Madan Mohan? Madhav and Vasanta, right? Asanta Singh, right? Yes. Yeah, Madan Mohan is there, man. You people, you are saying he's not available. Madan Mohan is there. So really, he's attending from the day one onwards continuously. I appreciate it, really. So continuously he's attending. So did you? It's not affected by cloud mission because cloud, we have some differences, right? This is my own mission, right? So I'm doing everything manually. Then only you are going to understand about Linux properly. If I'm using EC2, you are unable to understand properly because EC2 having everything automated networks and those all stuff. Yes, no. So how you are going to understand exactly what we are doing? So that's why from the day one onwards, I'm using my missions and that too I'm teaching official content. Networking finish ma. That's enough. You're going to become good network engineer. That's not a issue. Easily you can deploy. You know how to deploy the isolated network and those all stuff. वैसे ही आपके क्लाउड पे भी deploy कर पाओगे. It's not a big deal. Cloud stack issue you'll have. Okay. So, okay. In AWS, Pankaj, because long back I used to teach AWS, so that's why I'm not logging like frequently nowadays. So that's why I don't know. Worldwide, I don't know, man. Actually, a little bit busy today. I went to my relative's home, so that's why just now I came. I don't know. I didn't log in from morning onwards. I don't know. In the news also. Actually, just now I came. I don't know much about news. I didn't check any mobile and those all stuff. Silly. I don't know. Right. Let's see, guys. Here, we need to deploy the network. Maybe sometimes it will happen. Sometimes internet also having some issues. Google also having some issues. It will happen because downtime is a common, guys. Downtime is a common. But we are not going to get like most probably frequently downtime. Kabhi to bhi. Hardly 1%, 2% like this. A annual failure rate. AFR. AFR. Who know AWS, those people, they should know this terminology. AFR. అవన్నీ మనకి ఎందుకు సార్ అంటారా AFR means annual failure rate. AFR hardly will have 1 to 2% always. Those all missions, right? Right. So ఏందోలేండి నేను ఒక పిచ్చోని ఏదో చెప్తుంటా will have sometimes like this problems. ఇప్పుడు ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చిందంటే రెటిఫై చేయాలంతే. సో బి if you want, you can make a note. AFR, what is AFR like this? People they will ask while you are trying to attending the interviews at the time. Annual failure rate. Tomorrow, archiving, I'll teach you archiving, how to archive the files, how we need to transfer the data from one mission to another mission using few what we say applications like what we say SC, SFTP, rsync, like this applications we are going to use. Okay, so I have deployed network. I'm going to communicate with 1.11. So there is no communication. Why? Destination host unreachable. Go to settings. Here you need to keep host only. So that's why you are getting error. .168.1.12. Yes. Yes, guys. So let's try to check with the client means host name .example.com. Guys, we need those both the machines, then only we can. Otherwise, it's not possible. Client.example.com. Ping client.example.com. So that's it, guys. Now we are going to start SSH, right? Guys, please focus on it. So now, before SSH, we'll have one protocol telnet. Nowadays also we'll have one protocol telnet. So SSH telnet we are going to use to access the remote missions, right? So usually telnet it having some drawback. Telnet having some drawback, guys. Because of that reason, Linux by default they introduced to us SSH. By default, you'll have one protocol called SSH into your Linux operating system. If you doesn't have, you need to install, right? How to check the SSH? Yes, guys, systemctl status SSH. So we'll have SSH protocol into both the machines. Systemctl status SSH. So both the machines it having SSH, both the machines SSH that to active. Means if we having active status, we can access this machine remotely into another machine through network. अगर ये deactivate हो गया, so if it is a disable, maybe disable means if it is active, we can access, but it's inactive, we are unable to access, remember. Sometimes if you are unable to access the machines, right? So go to check the SSH protocol, then you are going to understand. If it is disable means if it is inactive, then we are unable to access this machine remotely, right? So guys, before SSH, we'll have telnet. Telnet is a protocol. So telnet is a protocol. Now we'll do one thing. Assume this is server and this is client. Okay. So in client machine, what I'm doing in the sense, I'm trying to creating two different users called U1 and U2. If you want to can create into server also, it's not a problem, right? So now what we are doing in the sense exactly. So those both the machines having proper network. So both having communication. Now we are trying to accessing this U1 from client to server remotely. So we have U1 user into client operating system. So we are trying to accessing this U1 from client to server remotely. Means we are trying to accessing this U1 from client. So into server remotely. So telnet is a protocol. We need to execute telnet command into server. By default, you don't have, I think, telnet. We need to install space telnet space U1 client dot example.com, or otherwise, if you want, you can give the IP address of client machine. Guys, anyone, if you want, you can give host name. If you're having proper DNS server, you can give host name. You can communicate with host name. It's not a problem. Or otherwise, instead of host name, if you want, you can give client machine's IP address. Both are same, but don't give both. Got it? Anyone. So whether we need to provide host name, otherwise IP address, right? So clear, guys? I hope you got it, right? Next. So we have few drawbacks in Telnet. While you're trying to sending the request to client machine with the help of Telnet, the request that is going to travel through network in a clear text format. In a clear text format means what you are trying to sending the request data, it is going to travel through network in clear text format. Anybody can read. Got it, guys? Maybe we'll have smart users, hackers. They're going to connect one T connector here. They're going to connect one more machine here. They can get our data easily. They can misuse. So I hope you got it, guys, right? So that's why they introduced to us SSH, secure shell. You people, they are going to call secure socket shell like that also. So Open SSH is a package. Open SSH is a package. If you doesn't have SSH command into your operating system, better to install Open SSH. Yum install Open SSH like this you can install. Then we are going to get SSH service. Got it, guys? So same syntax. Instead of Telnet, we are using SSH. SSH example.com, or you can give IP address of your client machine. IP address of your client machine. Got it, guys? Clear? Yes, no? So both the syntax are same. Instead of Telnet, we need to use SSH. That's it. Okay. So clear, guys? I hope you're clear. Now, actually, there is a problem. You're unable to access directly like Telnet. While you are trying to sending the request to the client machine, it is not going to provide the response directly, remember. So now we are trying to sending the request from server to client with the help of SSH. This client, it will ask to server, boss, who are you? Why I need to provide my user to you? You are a known person or unknown person? I hope you got it, guys. So directly it is not going to provide the response. So you should have the address of your client into server, then only client machine it will provide the response to server. Then only we are going to access this U1 user account securely through network into server remotely. Simple, man. You are trying to calling to me. I don't have your number. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ignore. Yes, no. Always, if I didn't save the number, always I'm going to ignore. Right? So I have saved your number. Then I'm finding so and so Chandramouli is calling. I'll go, okay, so and so Chandramouli is calling. He's my student like this. I'm going to pick the call. So Chandramouli is a known person. Someone, if they are calling, they are unknown persons. I hope you got it, right? So known persons and unknown person. Like the same way, server, while it is try to sending the request to the client, okay, so it will generate, it will ask to us to establish the connection between those both the machines. So if you're providing S, it is going to generate one key called known host key. Known hosts key. Got it, guys? So with the help of this known host key, what you are trying to sending the request and you are getting the response, it will happen into encrypted format. So that's why SSH is a secure. With the help of this known host key, so it is going to encrypt the data. Got it, guys? It is going to encrypt the data. So don't ask now here what is encryption and those all stuff. Okay, try to understand. So encryption and those all stuff, better to ask to in AWS, we have one concept called key management. There, encryption, decryption, those all stuff you are going to get. At present, try to understand what is known host key, what is public key, what is private key. So got it, guys? Known underscore host key it will generate. So inside this known underscore host key, you'll have client mission details along with one key. Then what you are trying to sending the request from server and what you are getting the response from client, those request and response, it is going to travel through network in encrypted format. So practically I will show you, according to that you are going to understand now. So let's see, guys, here. So we have two different missions. So I'm going to, guys, it's not like this. You need to access from server to client only. So if you want, you can access server into client also, vice versa. Both it's possible. So now I'm mission, user add U1 and then user add U2. Then we need to assign the password. Without password also we can access. I will teach you, don't worry. Give me some time. Then password U2. Got it, guys? Right. What happened? Now password it got assigned successfully for both the users, right? So where we did those all the users into client. Inside the client mission, we have U1 and U2. Now we are trying to accessing U1 user from client to server remotely, right? So go to server, then log in into server. Guys, it's not like that. You need to access the remote user with the root user, root account. If you want, you can use normal user also. I'm using student user. It's not like this. You need to send the request with root user. SSH U1 at the rate client.example.com. Then hit enter. See, guys, the authenticity of the host client.example.com 192.168.1.12 cannot be established because that he don't know. Server he don't know to the client. So server doesn't have the client details. So that's why, boss, who are you? Why I need to provide my users to you people? So remotely. So if you know about me, then I'm going to provide I'm going to provide my user like that. It's asking. So we need to establish the connection, right? So it's, see, guys, ECDSA is an algorithm. ECDSA is an algorithm. With the help of this ECDSA algorithm, right? It is going to generate one key that is called known host key. In the name itself, it's a known host, right? जो बंदा जानता है उसके बारे में वो फाइल में रहता. अभी क्लाइंट के बारे में सर्वर जानना चाहिए. जो क्लाइंट की डिटेल्स नोन होस्ट की पे आ जाएंगे ऑटोमेटिकली. गॉट इट, गाइस? आर यू श्योर वांट टू कंटिन्यू? Yes, I'm sure. If you're providing no, what will happen is it is going to disconnect the connection. If you're providing yes, it is going to ask to us password, U1 user's password. I have given U1 user password. See, guys, U1 at the rate client. So if you want, you can check who am I, U1. So if you want, you can check host name. I hope you got it. Actually, this is server. We send the request from server to client with the help of student user. The student user, it got established the connection between server and client, SSH connection. So we got a response from client, U1 user account remotely we can access. Auto, if you're providing S, automatically it is going to generate one key. Where it will generate? Let's see, guys, here, exit. We are back to again server, student user, right? Student user means server. So those keys where it will generate. Guys, inside the student user's home directory. Guys, if you are executing ls-l, you are unable to find anything. Actually, this is a hidden file, hidden directory. You need to execute ls-al. So you'll have one hidden directory called .ssh. By default, it will create. Or otherwise, go to etc. Inside the etc, we'll have SSH. There you can find those keys. Okay. So cd .ssh. See, We are into home student.ssh. Check the list. So we got one file called known hosts. Try to open this file with the help of EAM editor. It having client mission details. See guys, client 192.160 client.example.com 192.161.12 is a client mission IP address. This is algorithm ECDSA SHA-2 NISTP 256, and this is a encrypted key. With the help of this encrypted key, we are getting the request and response in an encrypted format. I hope you got it. Save and quit. Now we are trying to accessing U1, U2, whatever if you want an access. Now it is not going to ask to us to generate the key. Just you can give the password, U1's password, you are going to log in. You are going to access in U1 from client mission to server, right? Exit. Now what I'm doing in the sense, I'm trying to removing this file. rm-rf and then known host. The file it got removed. There is no files now. Now we are trying to sending the request to U1. What happens? See, without that known host file, you are unable to access the remote user. I hope you got it, guys. So you need to provide S, then that's it. Now automatically exit. We are back to server. Automatically the file it will create now. See, without known host file, you are unable to access remotely remote users into our server mission. I hope you got it, guys. Yes, no? So clear. Now assume this we have hundreds of the users, guys. We having one or two users, easily we can remember the username and password. It's not a big deal. So assume this in client machine you'll have 100 users. So you need to access maybe 50th user. So are you going to remember 100 users password, username and password? It's possible. It's a bit difficult to us. Yes, no? Right? So that's why we are going to use passwordless authentication. Passwordless authentication. Without, now we are trying to sending the request to the U1. It's probing to us to provide the password. Yes, no? So if you're having one or two users, it's okay. It's not a big deal. As a human, we can remember the password. But if you're having hundreds of the users, if you're having hundreds of the missions into your organization, so it's a bit difficult to us to remember those usernames and passwords as a human. So that's why what we are doing passwordless authentication. So now we are going to discuss how to access the remote user, the two very securely without any password. Guys, here we are going to use public and private keys. So because of passwordless authentication, what we need to use? We need to use public and private keys, guys. Public key and private key. Let's see here. So what is public key and private key, man? Huh? Huh? ఒక నిమిషం ఆగండి, అమ్మ ఏదో చెప్తుంది. వినిపిస్తుంది? నాకు వినిపించట్లేదు మరి. వినిపిస్తుంది. చెప్పండి. ఎనీబడి కెన్ యాక్సెస్. ఏంది యాక్సెస్? అదే ఏంది యాక్సెస్? ఎనీబడి కెన్ యాక్సెస్. ఏంది యాక్సెస్? ఇమ్రాన్ సార్నా? I hope you got it right. Anybody can access అంటున్నారు, బానే ఉంది. What you are going to access anybody? Anybody what kind of stuff they are going to access? సర్వరా? ఎలా? See guys, ECDSA algorithm man. మదన్ మోహన్, ECDSA is algorithm. మదన్ మోహన్ క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతున్నా, నా భయం వేస్తుంది అసలు. ఏం క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతారా అని చెప్పేసి. It's a algorithm. Right. So let's see guys here. Private and public. Sorry guys. Public key. So private and public key. అవునా? ఇప్పుడు కరెక్ట్గా ఉందా? సో పబ్లిక్ ప్రైవేట్ కీ Actually, we are going to say key pair, private and public key pair, right? So what is the use of public and private key pair? What is private key? What is public key? We need to generate this public and private key pair, right? What is the use of this public and private key pair? Okay. So what is your name? Huh? Tapas. Tapas. Tapasvi. Only Tapas, right? So Tapas, he's a rich kid, means he's a rich boy, right? So he have the huge, so his parents are getting huge revenue by God grace, okay? Tapas, he's a rich guy, assume this, okay? Richie enough, Richie rich. Huh? So Tapas is a rich guy, assume this, he's staying into his room. Actually, he's not going to share with other people because little bit rich, he's this guy. Assume this, he's staying into his room lonely. Lonely. Only lonely. Okay. So he have few like valuable gadgets along with him, like iPhone, iPad, and they have the music missions, and that guy he having fridge, refrigerator, washing machine, television, those kind of all the valuable things he having his room. Got it, guys? So Tapas, he's doing Linux codes in Naresh 80, especially with Imran sir. Yes, no. Yes, no. Tapas, right? So Tapas, he need to attend the session. Actually, he very much like offline only instead of online. Because in offline, we are going to enjoy, right? And then that too, guys, we'll have few expressions and those all stuff. Because of that reason, easily you are going to understand. Communication always depend on body language. 60 to 70% communication depend on body language only. Oh, but nowadays we are unable to do anything. So most of the people they are attending only online, right? So usually, so that's why Tapas, he's a rich, but actually he's very well interested into attend the online. So he need to travel from his room to Naresh IT classroom, but he have the very valuable gadgets. So he need to protect. How you are going to protect your room? How you are going to protect your room? Lock. Lock, right? Lock, you know very well about lock. From where you are going to get the lock? From where you are going to get the lock? Market means we need to visit to the any hardware shop or otherwise fancy shop. From there, we are going to get the lock. Guys, Tapas, he's purchasing one lock to protect his room. While you are trying to purchasing the lock, they are going to provide only lock along with the key. Yes, no. So they are going to provide the lock with key. That is called key pair. Really, guys? That is called key pair. Lock and key both are pairs. With the help of this key only, we are going to open the lock. Yes, no. So key pair. Lock is a public key is a private key. I hope both are key pair. Usually, while you are trying to launching the EC2 instance, you can find one field called key pair field. There you are going to provide your key pair name, right? I'll come later. Exactly. Now you are going to understand. Tapas, what he's going to do, he's going to put the lock to his room, right? Then he's going to keep the key also beside the lock. If he's keeping the key beside the lock, what will happen? That's it. Yes, no. Lock he's going to put to his room. Key he's going to keep into his pocket secretly. Key is a private key. Lock is a public key. Lock anybody can see. Now I visit to Tapas room. I find the lock I can see. So one of the friend he visit to Tapas room. He's going to find the lock. But if he having the key in front of the lock, then what will happen? He's going to open the, anybody can open, right? Yes, no. Same here also, same concept. So we are going to generate private key and public key. Got it, guys? Private key and public key. Public key we are going to put to the U1 user. Private key we are going to keep into our mission. This both the key, if it is matched, automatically it is going to provide the response to us without any authentication. समझ गए भी? आपके पास चाबी है तो बस, राइट? आपका रूम ओपन कर पाए, कोई भी ओपन कर पाएगा, anybody can open. Got it? Not only servers, to any Linux machine, to any Linux machine. You people, you are using word called server. జీవితం అంతా సర్వరే అంటున్నారు. So I so it may be server, it may be client, whatever it may be. I think you don't know much the differences between server and client, right? So that's why maximum people they are saying we can access our server with public key. We can access our server with public key. Yes, no, guys. Huh? So now how to generate this public and private key? Means we are trying to purchasing the lock and key. How to purchase the lock and key now we are going to discuss. Then how we need to put the lock to the U1 user account. Then we are going to discuss now. So let's see. If you need one more example, I'll teach you movie related example. If you are maybe having some confusion, I'll teach movie related example. Simple. How many of you know DJ movie? DJ. Duvada Jagannatham. You know DJ movie, right? That Allu Arjun hero, right? DJ and one more movie, Shivaji. Shivaji also best example. In those movies, we'll have one concept called Havala. Havala concept. Not Diwala, Havala. Right? So got it, guys. Havala concept will have. Havala means illegal money transaction. Illegal money transaction. In DJ movie, that villain name is Royal Naidu. Yes, no. That guy actually he's trying to transferring the 200, 300 crore liquid cash from India to somewhere. I think in UAE, Dubai. Yes, no. So how he's going to transfer? Well, you're trying to transferring this much of amount through bank. So they are going to put the taxes and those all stuff. So that's why people what they are going to do, it's a like kind of black money. So they need to transfer from this country to another country. So we'll have Havala, mafia backdrop movies having Havala concept. That Puri Jagannath director will have, right? So that guy usually he's going to use those kind of concepts into their movies. Right, guys? So now this Royal Naidu, he's doing Havala. So Havala people, this mafia backdrop people, what they are going to do exactly in the sense, they are going to get one note from that bundle. They are going to make two pieces, right? One piece is a private key. Another piece is a public key, right? So public key, actually private key, he's going to share to customer who's doing Havala. For example, Royal Naidu, that guy is a villain. He's doing Havala. He's going to share this note to the half note to the Royal Naidu. Got it, guys? So he's going to travel from India to somewhere. Then he's going to provide this node who's doing Havala into that particular country. They're going to match those both the notes, both the half notes. Then if it is matched, they will transfer the money into their that particular maybe that particular state currency or whatever it may be. Okay, got it, guys? I hope you're clear. So if you having this half note, that is enough. You are going to get your money there into some different country. I hope you got it. So one half note is a public key, another half note is a private key. Both if it is matched, then automatically we are going to get the money. We are going to transfer the money from India to some different country. I hope you got it, guys. This is a best example. Actually, I'm teaching this example past 6 to 7 years onwards. సో కొంచెం అందుకనే మార్చా, లాక్ కీ అని చెప్పేసి మార్చాను, అది బోరింగ్ ఉంటుందని. సో క్లియర్, గైస్? ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వాట్ ఈస్ పబ్లిక్ కీ, ప్రైవేట్ కీ, అంతే. తప్పించి ఏ మిషన్ అయినా యాక్సెస్ చేయొచ్చు, అది సర్వరే కాదు. ఎనీ మిషన్ వీ కెన్, రిమోట్ మిషన్ we are going to say. So we should not call servers. Server is a service provider. It may be server, it may be client, anything we can access remotely without any authentication with the help of public and private keys. Right now we are trying to generating public and private key. Inbuilt will have few applications. With the help of those applications, now we are trying to generating the public and private keys. SSH-keygen is a command. Keygen, I think. Keygen. So keygen is a command, then hit enter. See, guys, generating public and private RSA key pair, right? So guys, if you want, you can provide your own location also. Maybe I'm trying to generating those both the key into the default location, home student.ssh. right guys? If you want, you can create one directory. You can provide the path of that particular directory. So those key it is going to generate in that particular directory. Then hit enter, then again hit enter, then again hit enter. Two keys it got generated. See, one is home, student, RSA, ID underscore RSA. This is private key. What is the use of private key? Identification purpose. And this is public key. ID underscore RSA dot pub. Dot pub means public key, not Madhapur pub. Okay. So public key, anybody can, means we can share to any mission. To access the remote mission, we are going to share this public key, right? How we need to share the public key to the U1 user? Because we need to access the U1 user without any password. So how to share? If you want, you can check the list. Two more keys will have, see, ID underscore RSA, ID underscore RSA dot pub. Let's try to open ID underscore RSA. How it's looking? Your PEM key. Same like PEM key. What is PEM? What is PEM, guys? Private key, I know. What is the full form of PEM? Who's that guy? क्या नाम है यार उनका? Pankaj, Pankaj. Pankaj, PEM stands for Privacy Enhanced Mail. Private key is a PEM key. In AWS terminology, we are going to call PEM key. Coming to our Linux terminology, we are going to call private key. Both are same. Privacy Enhanced Mail. Both are same. We are going to call private key. Coming to AWS terminology, he is providing PEM, .pem. .pem means privacy enhanced mail, right? Private key only, right? This is public key. This is lock. Before we open key, चाबी. जो पहला जो ओपन किया था चाबी है, अभी जो ओपन किया था वो ताला है, right? Got it, guys? So kappa talangappa edo antaru kada telugulo, right? I hope you're clear. Yes, no, right? So now we are going to copy this public key to the U1 user. Don't copy private key. Copy the public key, right? How to copy? SSH hyphen copy ID hyphen I. It's not a mandatory here, but in your AWS, you need to provide hyphen I because you are going to generate those keys into different locations now. So that's why hyphen I means why here it's not mandatory because I have generated those keys into default location itself only. But in AWS, it's not like that. Now we are going to generate into different locations. So that's why hyphen I is a mandatory there. But here it's not a mandatory. Hyphen I means the key, it may be into any location we can access. Without hyphen I, you are unable to access if you try to generating the keys into different location. Remember, hyphen I stands for that. Got it, guys? ID underscore RSA dot pub. So public key, we are trying to copying to whom? u1@client.example.com. Then hit enter. Then we need to provide the one-time password, U1 user's password. See number of the key added, one key. So now SSH u1@client.example.com. Then hit enter. Without any password, we can access like your EC2 user. You know one thing, Ansible same thing only, but the mechanism you don't know what happening. It's internally. You know you are going to execute those all the commands. I know you know very well about those all the commands, but the internal mechanism you don't know. क्या बताना यार और एक बार? कौन सा? पब्लिक की देने के बाद ना कुछ भी नहीं है. SSH hyphen copy ID is a command. Hyphen I, it's not a mandatory into my mission, but you need to provide in AWS hyphen I because you are going to generate the key into the different locations. So that's why. So now public key location, right? Public key name ID underscore RSA dot pub. Then to whom we need to copy that username U1 at the rate. It's a client mission user, right? We need to provide the client.example.com. Then hit enter. It will ask password one time. U1 user's password it will ask. You need to provide the password. The key it is going to copy to the U1 user account. Now, if you try to execute in this command, it is not going to ask any password. See. without any password, U1 user we got from client. Got it, guys? Now, you people, you don't know. I think while you are trying to launching the EC2 instance, automatically, while you're trying to providing the key pair to the EC2 instance, we'll have key pair field, right? There you can find .ppk and one more will have ppk will have, that is a different story. ppk for Linux machines we are going to use. ppk means putty private key. What is the difference between ppk and pem? Both are same, guys. What is the difference? Why we need, when, in which cases? See, మీకేం తెలియదు నాకు ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైంది. See, guys, putty need, very good, Pankaj. So putty need, actually putty, we have an application called putty. It's a simulator application. We are going to access Linux mission remotely into Windows, the two old Windows operating systems like Windows 8, Windows 7. From Windows 10 onwards, they introduced to us few bash command by default into Windows 10 onwards. SSH, it will work in Windows 10 and as well as in Windows 11. No need to bother about putty gitty. We'll have putty, kitty, and we'll have MobiX team. Kitty also will have. You people, you don't know. Putty will have, kitty will have, mputty will have, and MobiX team will have, git bash will have. Different types of simulated applications will have. Those all the application. So the day one onwards, I have from the day one onwards, we are going to discuss about Linux and Windows, right? The differences between the, I think day two or day three class. Day two, I think, right? So at the time we discuss about Windows and Linux differences. I said Linux file system, it is not going to support for Windows. Windows file system, it is not going to support for Linux like that. Means we are unable to copy the files from Windows to Linux and Linux to Windows, right? इसीलिए क्या है हम लोग, we are going to use third party application to access Linux remote machine into Windows like putty. Putty, it don't support PEM key. So that's why we need to convert PEM to PPK. Putty, it will support only PPK. So that's why we need a PPK key while you're trying to accessing the Linux machine remotely into Windows using putty. I hope you got it, guys. Many applications will have, Pankaj. Hundreds of the applications will have simulated applications, right? So I hope you got it, right? So clear, guys? One more thing, while you are trying to launching the EC2 instance, AWS, it is going to generate automatically this public and private keys. If you want, you can check. Abhi मैं manually generate किया था ना? I have generated manually public and private key with the help of SSH keygen. But AWS, it will generate both the keys. You need to provide the PEM key name. While you're trying to providing the PEM key name, while you're trying to launching the EC2 instance, inside the background, behind your instance, public key also it will generate. Actually, key pair it will generate. If you observe, you will have the field name called key pair. Key pair will have, right? So pair will have. Pair means it is going to provide the key to us. It is going to put the lock to the EC2 user. So that's why while you try to uploading this PEM key into the putty without any password, you are going to access the EC2 user account like our U1. This much of it will happening in background. Got it? You people, you need to click there. We need to click there and then we need to launch instance. That's it. Finish. What it's happening inside, we are not at all bothering. Sarland ivani telusukoni మేము ఏం చేస్తాం సార్ అనకండి. So I hope you got it, guys. Exit. We are back to student. Now it won't ask any password. Now while you are trying to accessing U2 user account, what will happen? Let's see. It will ask password because this U2 doesn't have the public key, right? We need to copy the same public key. Maybe if you're having the 100 user, how you are going to copy the same key to the 100 users? With the help of script. Like this, if you are trying to copying one by one, it will take long time. So we need to write one small script and then you can execute everything. It is going to copy to the each and every user account. And if you want, you can use Ansible also to copy those keys. We have Ansible ad hoc commands. If you want, you can write the playbook also. Ad hoc command is more than enough. No need to write the playbooks and those old stuff. So I hope you got it, guys. Yes, no? Right. So now let's see here. Go to client. I have copied this key to whom? U1 user, right? So let's log in into U2. Let's try to check ls-al. So in client mission also you'll have .ssh. So go to .ssh, cd.ssh, check the list. You'll have authorized key. VIM authorized key, your public key, both are same. VIM id underscore rsa.pub. This key and authorized key both are same. While you are trying to copying this public key to the U1 user account, it is going to rename as a authorized key. id underscore rsa pub जो है ना authorized key के जैसा rename हो जाएगा. If you want, you can launch one instance. Go to EC2 user, right? Check ls-al. There you can find .ssh. Go to .ssh. Find authorized key. Delete the authorized key. You are unable to log in with EC2 user account. So now let's see. I'm going to delete this one. I'll show you here. I'm going to delete this one. So go to client. I'm trying to deleting this authorized key. rm-rf authorized key. Now it got deleted. There is no authorized key into U1. So try to access the U1 user account from server. What will happen? Let's see. It's asking password. क्योंकि authorized key वहां पे delete हो गया. So the authorized key got deleted from U1. So there is no log. So that's why it's asking password. If you're having the log, it don't ask any password because you'll have the key along with you. The key it is going to check, and if it is matched, then it is going to provide the response without any. I hope you got it right. So exit. Then we are back to SSH. Student user. Now we are trying to copying this key again. Got it, guys? We are going to copy this key again to U1. Now it got copied. Let's try to access U1 without any key. We can access now. Without any password, we can access. फिर से copy कर दिया ना? Means the authorized key got generated again there. So that's why without any password, we can access the U2 user. But U1 user we can access, but U2 we are unable to access. Guys, can we access root user from client? It's possible. Yes, it's possible in 7.0 as well as in 8.0, but it's not possible by default in 9.0. We need to provide the permission, then only we can access. Like the same way in your EC2 instance also having by default from EC2 new instance. I don't know much about old instances. In new instance, especially 2023, we don't have the permission for root. All the new operating systems doesn't have, but in 7.0 we'll have. Let's see. SSH root @ client.example.com. Example spelling tappa. మళ్ళీ 2 ఆటలు పడ్డాయి అక్కడ. రైట్ మొన్నే కదా మద్దాలు మార్చాను మళ్ళీ. See guys here. So root user we can access. Root user we can access. In 7.0, in 8.0, both the versions having by default access, but 9.0, this is the difference between 7, 8, 9. So 9.0, by default, we are unable to access. While you are trying to installing the 9.0, it will ask the permission to us. If you enable the permission, then we can access. Otherwise, we are unable to access. In 2023 instance also doesn't have the permission by default, right? Now I need to actually, if you are providing the root user access remotely, what will happen? People, they are going to misuse. So we need to protect the root user. They should not log in with root user. Then how we need to protect? Let's see. Exit from root. I'm going to client mission. Go to client mission because it's a client mission root user, right? Always we need to go to the client mission. There we need to modify. Okay. So exit from U1, we are back to root. vim/etc ssh d underscore conf. Guys, this is a configuration file related to SSHD service. Then open this file, right? Go a little bit down. Go a little bit down. See, guys, SSH port number is a 22. Can we change 22 to 90? Can we change? So we have an option called permit root login. Remove this hashtag in front of this. You need to keep no. We have by default as, but in new instances, we'll have no by default. That's why we are unable to access. New instances by default having no, but this is an old instance, right? Means old mission 7.0. So that's why. Okay. So now systemctl restart SSHD. What you did the modification we need to apply. So that's why always we need to execute this command called systemctl restart or reload, whatever if you want to can execute according to your requirement. So now we are trying to accessing the root user. What will happen? Let's see. Permission denied. Guys, I'll teach you one magical thing. Now I'm going to access with U1, right? Got it. Actually, directly we are unable to access the root user. With U1, we can access. I hope you got it right. But actually, they are going to find you very easily because of log. Log events will have, na? From log events easily, who log in with root user, easily they can find. हाँ? उसका पासवर्ड अगर पता चला तो लॉग इन कर पाओगे क्योंकि U1 से एक्सेस है अपने को. U1 से हम लोग रूट पे स्विच कर पाएंगे ना. But we are unable to access root user directly. Because we disable the access for root user, we are unable to access root user remotely into server from client. But we can do like this. But people, they are going to identify you very easily because of log events. Okay. I hope you're clear, right? Yes, no. Now my intention is on EC2, we do same way. You can EC2 also you can do same way. But in EC2 new instance, I'll tell you. So permit root login will have, right? You'll have no there. Instead of no, you'll have it got protected, something like that. They are going to write. Okay. Remember, remove that one and then keep it as, then you can access root also remotely. Especially coming to Ansible, if you need to execute with root, Ansible command, if you need to execute with root, you need to keep yes there. Then only you can copy the key. Otherwise, it's not possible. You are going to get the error, permission denied error. Permission denied error you are going to get. समझ रहे हैं? Right. So now we need to go to here. Now my intention is apart from U1, remaining people, they should not access. Remaining user, they should not access, means remotely. Only U1 user account only I need to access remotely. So it may be root, it may be U2, whatever it may be student, right? So those people, they should not provide the remote access. Kya karna chahiye? Go to client mission, go to here, sshd underscore conf, config, open this one, go a little bit down. Guys, in your EC2 instance, password authentication you'll have. By default, you'll have no. You need to keep S. Then only you are going to protect. No means it's a very good protection. If you're providing S, means anybody can, means to you can provide the access to any user, remote user. We need to provide no here. If you're providing no, only you one having the access, remaining people doesn't have the access. By default, in 2023 instance, you'll have no. But this is old mission, right? 7.0, right? It having S. Got it, guys? So now I kept no. Then systemctl restart sshd. Then go to server. Try to access U1. Can we access? Yes, we can access U1. So try to access root instead of U1. What happens here? Permission denied. Try to access U2. Try to access U2. Can we access U2, guys? No. It may be U2, it may be U3, it may be U4, it may be student, anybody, any user we are unable to access. Only U1 having the permission because U1 having the public key. So that's why. If you keep no password authentication, no, खाली जो है ना U1 access कर पाएंगे, remaining we are unable to access. If you copy the public key to the U2, then we can access. वो स्क्रिप्ट लिखना चाहिए. हाँ, फाइल स्क्रिप्ट लिखना चाहिए उसको. So I hope you're clear, guys. So how we need to work with public and private keys. So this is all about SSH. So if you're having any doubts, any questions, please. Huh? Notes. Known? थोड़ा जोर से बात करो यार, लड़की के जैसा क्यों बात कर रहे हो? नोन होस्ट के बारे में. नोन होस्ट का मतलब क्या है? आप पहचानते हैं, राइट? सो ऐसे ही यहाँ पे while you are trying to sending the request from server to client, you should have the client details into server, then only this client machine will provide the response to this. So यहाँ पे नोन होस्ट की बन जाएगा. आप एस दे रहे हो ना, एस बोल के you are going to establish the connection. While you are establishing the connection, नॉन होस्ट की बन जाएगा यहाँ पे. इसके अंदर ये जो नॉन होस्ट की के अंदर जितने भी सर्वर के नाम है, मीन्स जो जितने भी मिशंस के नाम है, वो सारे मिशंस को हम रिमोट में एक्सेस कर पाएंगे सर्वर पे. इट मे बी क्लाइंट 1, क्लाइंट 2, क्लाइंट 3, क्लाइंट 4, लाइक दैट. It's not like this you are going to access client to server. If you want, you can access server to client also. Both it's possible. Vice versa also we can. कैसे भी जो मिशन चाहिए वो मिशन को एक्सेस कर पाएंगे. हाँ, यहाँ पे ऑपोजिट करेंगे सब. नहीं, ये जो कमांड यहाँ पे एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे. सो यहाँ पे इस पे जो यूजर है यहाँ पे देंगे. हाँ, नॉन होस्ट की यहाँ पे क्रिएट होगा. जहां से रिक्वेस्ट भेज रहे हो वो मिशन पे क्रिएट होएगा नॉन होस्ट की. So we are try to sending the request from server, right? In server mission, known host kit will create. If you are trying to sending the request from client, in client mission, known host kit will generate. वहां क्रिएट होएगा. जो known host key के अंदर opposite mission की details रहेंगे with one encrypted key. With the help of that encrypted key only, a request and response it will happen securely. Okay, right? Yes, guys. So still, if you having any doubts, any questions, please. Pankaj is asking about hyphen I. Hyphen I means Pankaj. Always in EC2, you need to use hyphen I option while you are trying to copying the private key to the particular user, remote user, because you are going to generate those key into the different location, right? So that's why we need to provide hyphen I. For example, if you are trying to generating the keys into the default location, no need to provide hyphen I. If you try to generating those keys, private and public keys into the different location apart from default, then you need to provide hyphen I. You should provide the path. That is the difference. Hyphen I means anywhere you can generate. But if you need to copy those keys anywhere to some different remote user, you should add hyphen I. That's it. Pankaj. It's not for private key, man. It's for public key. While you are trying to copying the public key, SSH hyphen copy ID space hyphen I. Then public key name, public key path, and then remote user name. Remote user u1 at the rate example client.example.com, like that. Private key you should not share. If you're sharing the public private key, there is no protection for us. Anybody can access. We should not share the private key. We need to share only public key. ताला डालना चाहिए, वहां पे चाबी नहीं लगाना, चाबी अपने जेब में डालना चाहिए. Like this, we can run for EC2 while login. You can run EC2 while you're all. See, you need not to generate those keys automatically. AWS, it is going to generate those all the keys. Pankaj, while you're trying to launching the EC2 instance, AWS, it will generate public and private keys. What you are getting PEM key, that is a private key. Automatically authorized key it will generate for EC2 user. So that's why with the help of PEM key, you are going to log in with authorized EC2 user without any password with the help of authorized key. पब्लिक की उसको असाइन कर देगा EC2 यूजर को, प्राइवेट की आपको दे देगा, आपके मिशन में डाउनलोड हो जाएगा लैपटॉप में. ये आपको क्या कर रहा है, इंस्टेंस लॉन्च कर रहे तो उसका चाबी आपको दे रहा है. बस अब ये चाबी के जरिया आपको EC2 यूजर को विदाउट एनी पासवर्ड एक्सेस कर लो बोल के. गॉट इट नाउ. So actually in AWS, while I'm trying to teaching at the time, I'll make few diagrams, how we are going to access, how it is going to generate, like with the help of the diagram. So I used to explain. Okay, now anyway, I'm not teaching anything related to AWS and Linux. This much of is enough. It's very help to you people in AWS as well as in DevOps also. Without knowing this concept, always you'll have the confusion while you're working with Ansible, while you're working with EC2 instances. I hope from now onwards, you don't have any confusion. Exactly what it's happening inside in the instance, you're clear now, right? Yeah, welcome guys. Class done, man. Pankaj, finish. I hope I hope you are very clear, right? Pankaj. Yeah, welcome. Okay, guys. See you. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about archiving, means tar files, how to create the tar files, how to transfer the data from one machine to another machine, means network backups, how to get the network backups. I think it's a very useful for you people while you are doing in real time involvement at the time. So today I will practice and then get back to, sure, no issues. Any question you can ask, guys. I'm also human, right? So maybe I have little bit knowledge. So maybe if I don't know, definitely give me one day time. So I am going to provide the proper information for you. It's not a big deal. So मैं जो है ना मेरे को सब पता है बोल के बोलने वाले में से नहीं हो, right? I need to learn still. Anybody can do like that only. So according to their issues, they are going to get the knowledge. Right, guys? So okay, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye. Take care. बोलो यार.